The story begins with Trevor Reznik, a factory machinist who's been battling chronic insomnia for a year. One night, he's in his apartment, wrapping a body in a carpet. He hauls it to the beach and dumps it, but as the carpet unrolls, the corpse is exposed. A man holding a yellow flashlight suddenly appears and asks chillingly, "Who are you?" Suddenly, Trevor's back in his apartment, scrubbing his hands with bleach. The yellow flashlight now sits on his table. In the mirror, he sees a post-it with the same haunting question. "Who are you?" He starts reflecting on how it all began. Trevor often visits a call girl named Stevie. One night, she jokes that if he gets any thinner, he'll disappear. She offers to cook, but he declines and heads to work after tipping her generously. At the factory, Trevor witnesses his supervisor, Tucker, scolding Miller for shutting down a machine. After work, the guys invite him to poker, but he declines, drawing more quiet judgment. That night, Trevor visits an airport diner where he chats with Maria, a kind waitress. She echoes Stevie's joke about him vanishing if he gets any skinnier. He brushes off the déjà vu. Maria hints that loneliness might be his root problem. He tips well and leaves his pie untouched. At home, Trevor tries to sleep but jolts awake when his book falls. He weighs himself minus 121 pounds and adds a post-it to a wall of declining numbers. He then scrubs the bathroom with bleach, runs out, and adds a reminder to buy more. The next day, his boss pulls him in, questioning his health and asking for a drug test. Trevor insists he's clean, but is still told to submit a sample. Outside, Trevor smokes in the parking lot, disturbed by the car lighter. A red car pulls up. Inside is Ivan, a man with sunglasses and a cigarette. He claims to work in the pit with someone named Reynolds. They chat briefly before parting, but Trevor notes Ivan's distinctive boots. Later, Trevor visits Stevie again, too exhausted for anything but rest. She gets a call from her ex and brushes it off, calling him a psycho. At the factory, Miller asks Trevor for help with the machine. Trevor assists, but his focus wavers when he spots Ivan in the distance. Ivan makes a throat-slitting gesture. Shocked, Trevor missteps. Miller's arm is caught in the machine and severed. Trevor alerts supervisors, then rushes to find Ivan, but he's gone. Back home, he scrubs with bleach and vomits. Now 119 pounds. He adds the new number to the posted wall. While eating, he finds a utility shut-off notice and adds a reminder to pay the bill. But then he spots a new post-it, a hangman game with no letters filled in. Confused, he asks his landlady if she's seen anyone around. She hasn't. The next day, he confesses the accident was his fault, but blames his distraction on Ivan. The supervisors are baffled. No one knows Ivan. Trevor searches, but there's no sign of him, no employee record either. Shaken, Trevor returns to Maria's diner. She gently asks why he comes so far just for coffee. When Mother's Day comes up, he reveals his mom has passed. Maria invites him to join her and her son at the amusement park. Meanwhile, his co-workers grow cold. Eventually, they make it clear they don't want him around. As Trevor leaves, he sees Ivan driving off and gives chase. At a red light, he demands Ivan tell the truth. Ivan brushes it off and suggests they go somewhere to talk. At a bar, Trevor, who usually avoids alcohol, orders a whiskey. Ivan dodges Trevor's questions and eventually holds up a disfigured hand in response. He claims the workers are playing a prank by pretending he doesn't exist. Ivan excuses himself to the restroom, and Trevor rifles through his wallet, finding a photo of Ivan and Reynolds fishing. Back home, Trevor calls Reynolds, threatening to expose him. Reynolds hangs up. In the kitchen, Trevor notices the hangman game now has a head and torso, and the letters E and R disturbed. He throws it out. He rushes to Stevie's, panicked. She's about to meet a guest but lets him in. He vents about the accident and the mind games. When the hangman comes up, he guesses the answer might be Tucker. Stevie tells him if they wanted him gone, he'd already be fired. On Mother's Day, Trevor joins Maria and her son, Nicholas, at the amusement park. While taking their photo, Trevor sees an odd glow and spaces out. Maria asks, but he shrugs it off, saying it reminds him of his childhood. Maria steps away to take a call from her ex, and Trevor takes Nicholas on a ride. He tells the boy about his own father leaving, and how he learned to appreciate his mom later in life. He urges Nicholas to value his mother now. They ride a haunted house attraction called Route 666. It starts normally, but quickly turns disturbing. Flashing lights trigger hallucinations for Trevor and a seizure for Nicholas. Trevor carries the boy out, calling for help. Maria arrives and explains that Nicholas has a condition. He'll be okay. She declines medical help and invites Trevor to drive them home. At her place, Trevor feels a strange familiarity. A clown statue and a glass bowl catch his eye, triggering a deep sense of déjà vu. When Maria returns with wine, she gently asks why he always tips her so generously. Trevor says it's simply his way of showing appreciation for her company. Maria tells him he doesn't need to buy her time. He can just take her out to a movie sometime. He smiles and agrees, then heads to the kitchen to refill their glasses. While there, something unsettling catches his eye. A Mother's Day card with a stick figure eerily similar to the one from his hangman note. Disturbed, Trevor rushes home and digs the discarded note out of the trash. He fills in the missing letters to complete the word mother. Afterward, he pulls out an old photo album and flips through it until he finds a picture from his childhood. He and his mother standing in front of the same carousel, posed in nearly the exact same way as Maria and Nicholas were. The next day at the factory, Trevor is assigned to a different machine than usual. Back at work, Trevor sees Miller one last time. He stopped by to collect his final paycheck and say goodbye. Trying to mend things, Trevor apologizes and tells him he can always count on him if he needs anything. Miller assures him there are no grudges between them. Trevor returns to his new assignment, but things take a terrifying turn. As he operates the unfamiliar machine, it suddenly jerks to life and clamps down on his arm. Eerily similar to the accident that injured Miller. Screaming in pain, Trevor stretches his free arm toward a nearby tool and manages to shut off the power. His co-workers arrive and help him break free, but instead of thanking them, Trevor lashes out, convinced someone set him up. He starts yelling, accusing them of sabotage. Reynolds tries to calm him down, saying he's imagining things again. Trevor, desperate to prove otherwise, brings up Ivan and reaches for the photo in his wallet. But it's gone. When Tucker comes over to check on the commotion, Trevor snaps. He shoves him violently against a machine, ready to fight. It takes several co-workers to pull him off, and Tucker wastes no time firing him on the spot. Trevor returns to his apartment only to find the electricity has been cut off. He'd forgotten to pay the bill. Something thick and dark oozes from his fridge, but he's too distracted to notice. Out of options, he heads back to the bar, hoping to find Ivan, but he's nowhere to be seen. Later, he visits Stevie and finds her with a bruise under her eye. She dismisses it as just part of her job. After spending the night together, Stevie opens up, saying she's ready to leave her current life behind if Trevor wants her to. He agrees without hesitation. Back home, Trevor lights a few lanterns to make up for the power outage. He's startled when someone starts forcing the front door, but it's just Mrs. Shrike. She's complaining about a leak in her unit and suspects it's coming from his. She also comments on the awful stench in the air. Trevor brushes her off and sends her away. Curious, he checks the kitchen and discovers the refrigerator leaking what looks like blood. On its door, the hangman game has changed again. Now, the letters I and L have been filled in. Convinced the answer must be Miller, he decides to confront him. Trevor drives to Miller's home and accuses him of intentionally turning the machine on to hurt him. Miller, clearly fed up, ignores him at first. But when Trevor keeps pressing, he retaliates by kicking Trevor where it hurts and throwing him out. As Trevor stumbles outside, he spots Ivan's red car nearby and assumes he's part of the setup. Without hesitation, he jumps into his truck and begins tailing him out into the countryside. He gets close enough to spot the license plate and notices there's someone sitting in the passenger seat. The distraction almost causes him to crash into an oncoming truck, but he swerves at the last second. His truck, however, breaks down, and Ivan vanishes into the distance. Determined to get answers, Trevor goes to the DMV to inquire about the car. The clerk tells him license plate info is private unless it's tied to a criminal case. With no other option, Trevor throws himself in front of a moving car to fake a hit and run and files a report at the police station. Bruised but upright, he waits until a cop approaches with shocking news. The red car is registered to him and was totaled a year ago. Trevor reels. The officer warns that filing a false report is a crime. Panicking, Trevor bolts. Two cops chase him through the streets until he dives into the subway and escapes through an open manhole. Now in the sewers, he finds two paths, one lit with a figure walking ahead, the other pitch dark. He takes the dark one. That evening, Trevor returns to his truck and drives to his apartment, only to see police speaking to Mrs. Shrike outside. Instead of going in, he heads to Stevie's. Shocked by his battered state, Stevie helps clean him up and begs him to see a doctor. He refuses and asks to stay the night. She agrees and confesses she loves him. While she makes dinner and chats about finding new work, Trevor puts on clothes left by her clients. In her closet, he spots a pair of familiar boots. Uneasy, he searches until he finds a framed photo of Ivan and Reynolds. Furious, he accuses Stevie of being Ivan's ex and plotting revenge. Stevie is stunned. She says she thought the photo was of Trevor and a friend, left behind with tip money, and she assumed it was meant for her. Trevor insists the man in the photo isn't him, but Stevie doesn't understand, because to her, it is him. Trevor refuses to look at the picture. He lashes out, calls her a liar, and hurls a slur. Stevie, hurt and furious, slaps him and throws him out. Driving away in a daze, Trevor replays every moment he thought Stevie was on the phone with her ex. He's convinced it was Ivan, and that she was in the red car. At the airport, he stops by his usual diner hoping to see Maria. But a different waitress greets him. He asks about Maria. The waitress says no one by that name has ever worked there. She's always been the one serving him. She even thought he was mute. Trevor snaps, ranting about conspiracies, and storms out. In the parking lot, he sees Ivan in the red car. He follows him back to his own apartment complex and is stunned to see Nicholas in the passenger seat. He trails them into the building. Inside, he finds Ivan alone, toying with a knife. Nicholas is gone. Ivan cryptically suggests the boy is already dead in the bathtub. Trevor attacks. After a violent struggle, he kills Ivan. But when he tears open the shower curtain, the tub is empty. Panic rising, Trevor flings open the fridge. The stench of rotting fish, the same fish from the photo, hits him. Then the truth crashes down. The man in the picture wasn't Ivan. It was him. The story loops back. Trevor dragging Ivan's body toward the sea. But this time, when the carpet unrolls, it's empty. The man holding the yellow flashlight is Ivan. Back in his apartment, Trevor stares into the mirror. The post-it still asks, "Who are you?" Ivan appears behind him, laughing. And now Trevor remembers. A year ago, while driving his red car, Trevor looked away for a lighter and struck Nicholas. He fled, leaving Maria, Nicholas's mother, to find the body. The car, the boots, the sunglasses, they were Trevor's. So were the hallucinations. Maria, her diner, even the comforting moments. They were guilt-born illusions. His insomnia, his torment, all tied to that moment. In clarity, Trevor finishes the hangman puzzle in ink. The answer: killer. Days later, Mrs. Shrike visits, noticing familiar items Trevor once imagined in Maria's home. He admits they belong to his mother. He promises a truck will pick them up. Trevor drives off. Ivan, his guilt, sits beside him. At the familiar fork in the road, Trevor makes a different choice. He turns back toward the city. Walking into the police station, he calmly confesses to killing Nicholas. The officers lead him to a cell, and at last, Trevor sleeps.